We are here with Dmitry Mayorov from Russia. Can you tell me how you started designing and developing WordPress themes? How did you get into the WordPress community?
I first worked as a graphic designer in a printing company, and then once one of the clients of that company asked us if we could build a website, and it was a challenging thing for me, and I said yes, and then went and tried to figure out how to build websites, and then I remember I started with Joomla, which didn't go pretty well for me, and then discovered WordPress, and then discovered WordPress themes and marketplaces, and this idea that you can not only build themes for clients, but also create themes that other people will use and install themselves just inspired me a lot. So that's how I started building themes. It was like a side project for several years, and then Theme Patio came out, and I still run it.
Okay, so I've seen you have 2 successful themes at WordPress.org already, and also Theme Patio with your commercial themes. When did you launch Theme Patio, and do you still do client work on the side?
I launched Theme Patio right before WordCamp US 2015. Before that, I did client projects, and yes, I still do client projects for some of the clients that I worked for quite a while. And what was the question about Theme Patio again?
When did you decide you were going to go for it with selling WordPress themes?
Yeah, it was way before WordCamp US 2015, but it took me a while to figure out how to not follow this idea of creating monstrous theme that tried to like I said in my talk, tackle all the problems at once, because I obviously realized that I cannot do this myself. I didn't want to work in a team at that time, because obviously I felt like just this is not something I wanted to do. I wanted to learn the process before I scale, and that's why I decided to do small themes at the beginning, like that do one thing but do it good, like a portfolio theme with Maker, and a theme for small businesses with Counter, and now that I released a new theme, just a small blogging theme for bloggers, and it's not on WordPress.org yet, but hopefully I'll get it there in several months.
Okay. So you've been co-organizing meetups in Russia and WordCamps as well. How long have you been doing this?
I started taking part in meetups, I think in 2013, when I moved to Moscow from my home city, which is Chelyabinsk, and I just by accident discovered meetup in Moscow, which was run by and still run by Konstantin Kovshanin, my good friend. And I asked him if I can make a talk on on managing images. It was this idea of, well, I had this client that had this workflow with images, and it was kind of hard for them to upload all images with write alt tags, title tags, and do it quickly. So I kind of created a workflow with software that allowed to do it quickly, and I gave a talk about that. And then I continued to go to meetups, helped Konstantin to organize them, and then in 2015, after work in Moscow, he asked me if I wanted to take on the role of the lead organizer, and I was super excited. I said, well, yes, I'd love to. And yeah, so gradually from like attending first meetup in Moscow to helping organize that, and to organizing the WordCamp in Moscow in 2016, and now we are having WordCamp Moscow 2017 in August 12th. So I will be as successful as last year.
Okay. What is unique about the WordPress community in Russia? And what are some things that are overlooked? What kind of challenges do you see in Russia?
One of the challenges is to get as many people on board, if this is the right word, as we see here, like WordCamp Europe, WordCamp US, or even London, because Russia is a huge country, and we don't have, and our WordCamp is like twice as small as the speaker dinner here, which is a bit sad, but this is the challenge number one, to get as many people as here. And second challenge would probably be a misconception that WordPress is, so people tend to think that WordPress is not secure and not fast, but this is only partially true. If you don't use it right, any software is not secure and not fast, and overcoming this preconception is challenge number two, I would say. So, yeah.
Let's see. Who are some of your role models in the WordPress community and in the theme space specifically as well?
Okay. I was really inspired with work of Orman Clark when I first discovered his themes on Theme Forest, especially Classica was one of the most downloaded theme at that time. And what I liked about it is that he didn't follow the same path as everybody. He was going with creating skeuomorphic themes that tried to do all shadows and stitches and things like that. And at that time he released this super simple theme that didn't look like anything else, any other theme. That inspired me, and I realized that you don't need to follow the same path as everybody is going. So yeah, Orman is one of the role models. I also get really inspired by the work of Mike McAllister from Array Themes. He was also on Theme Forest at the time. He ran a theme shop called OK Themes, then they renamed to Array Themes. And Mike is like a super awesome guy. We met at WordCamp San Francisco in 2014 and had a nice chat. And I didn't have a theme shop yet. And talking to him and realizing that it's possible to create themes without huge team of developers and designers, inspired me to do more and to discover the process and to improve myself as a developer and designer. And yeah, so that would be Mike. And I also like works of themes of Andres Norton, because his themes are also super clean and looking good and work fast, and he uses best practices in terms of code, and even studying his themes helps me learn and make my themes better. Oh, also Sami Keirinen from Helsinki does a great job in terms of themes. I attended his talk at WordCamp Helsinki earlier this year. He did a workshop on accessibility, and it helped a lot to learn how to do better themes, how to make them more accessible for people, because accessibility is not only about making themes accessible for people with disabilities, but if you mention someone Morton mentioned someone holding a baby and trying to navigate the website with one hand, because this is also important to make themes accessible for people. Yeah, so these are probably my top 4 role models.
Okay, and so my last question, I read your philosophies on your website about building themes, and it's very inspiring, and it looks like you are one of the ones who are trying to avoid bloat and loading up themes with too many options. What inspired you to put those philosophies on your website, and how did you start forming those opinions?
That's tricky, because this is not the popular path nowadays. because I still get this feeling that people want the ability to customize themes, but so I have the two clients, just try to explain with an example, that downloaded themes without calling names from like huge themes that use page builders and sliders and things like that, and asked me if I could customize it. And then I said, okay, those are my friends. I did that and handed those themes to them, and they ended up not using them because said that, wow, this is kind of hard to learn. I'm not sure how to use it. It's like this UI is crazy. I don't know how to add this element here or add this element there. And I think that as a theme developer, I should create themes that solve simple problem, but do it really well. And if like someone wants to use the theme for another purpose, then this theme is not for him, and this is basically it. So that's the idea of those philosophies, and I'm not sure if I'm like saying it in the best way I can, but yeah.
Okay. And so, where do you think themes are going in the future? You've taken a certain opinion on making themes built for specific purpose.
Yes.
Do you think the whole theme industry is going to move that way eventually, or do you think you'll still be one of the outlying people who ascribe to this?
I think it's going to be it's going to go two directions at the same time. I think that page builders and multi-purpose themes won't go anywhere, but I also think that niche themes are here to stay as well, because not everybody is looking for page builders. I see the tendency that first, when people get introduced to WordPress, they discover theme marketplaces and they think, okay, this is the top seller, I'm gonna go with this theme. Then they install it, and for some people it works, and there's nothing wrong with that, because sometimes you have challenges that you need to create a website like yesterday, and you can install this theme and like quickly comp the layout and like put it online. But once they see that there is another way, they start research other theme developers and other theme shops, and realizing that there are simple themes that work faster, that easier to use, and that you don't need to like spend 2 hours trying to create the homepage, and they use those themes as well. And this is something that these are themes that I'm trying to build, and these are themes that I see Mike is building, I see Andres is building, and Mike has a successful theme shop. I like I said, I think it's going to be stay the same probably. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, thank you, Dmitry.